If you want to scale to multiple six figures per month consistently with your high ticket info, coaching, consulting offer, whatever you want to call it, you have to run paid ads, okay? There is no way around it. You have to run paid ads if you want to get there consistently, all right? Organic is still good, and you should still focus on organic as well, because organic and paid should work together, right? Your organic efforts are going to play into your paid efforts. Your paid efforts are going to play into your organic efforts, okay? You should still put some focus on your organic as well, but paid ads is going to be the most important part when it comes to scaling to multiple six figures, even seven figures per month, okay? So here's a $250,000 per month meta ads blueprint for high ticket coaching, info, consulting offers, whatever you want to call it. We've been running this for over a year now, okay? This is the exact campaign structure. I say almost a year because this is what's working right now after the Andromeda update, okay? Because that changed everything. Like back in the day, you could run like a couple of hooks, right? You record a couple of hooks, a couple of bodies, like 5 hooks, 5 bodies, you have 25 ads if you match all of them together. That doesn't work anymore, okay? And I'm going to show you exactly why that doesn't work. Meta themselves, okay, Meta itself, they say that it doesn't work. This is exactly what works right now. We're running webinar funnels right now. For example, we're getting cost per leads anywhere between $7 to $10, right? So as you can see right here, $10, 1,200 leads. As I said, this was for a webinar campaign, but what I'm going to show you today is going to work for everything. It's going to work for VSL funnels. It's going to work for low ticket ascension, whatever type of funnel you're running, okay? This ad strategy works for everything. But as I said, this was for a webinar funnel. Webinar funnels are just like from our experience. Right now, they're performing extremely well, simply because of the state of the market and the fact that you have so much value that you can give your prospects and so much runway to nurture your prospects before you ever pitch them, okay? That's why webinars work so well right now for us. And if you want to run your own webinar funnel, there's going to be a link in the video description. It's going to be the first link, okay? Check it out. It's going to lay out our entire done-for-you webinar funnel, where we're going to build out and launch and scale your entire webinar funnel completely done for you. All you'd have to do is just record some ads and also hop on the webinar once a week. Everything else is, again, done for you. But yeah, let's continue with the video. Step number 1, all right? So the last Andromeda update has changed everything. As I said just a couple of months ago, I can record 5 hooks, 3 bodies, 24 creatives. Doesn't work. Forget it, okay? What works right now is what they call creative diversification, all right? So what does that mean? Creative diversification, again, this is directly from Facebook, refers to the practice of creating a wide range of ad creatives with different themes, messages, and visuals to cater to diverse audience segments. They say wide range of ad creatives with different themes, messages, and visuals. Here's another part of their news articles, right? Forget the idea of a perfect ad and focus on creating multiple diverse ads variants with different attributes to reach incremental audiences, right? One way to do this is to build personas that outline different customer needs and blockers to purchase, and by identifying these customer personas, you can align different value propositions and messages for these audiences in your ads, okay? What does that mean? It means messaging has become your new targeting. That's what they're trying to say right here, okay? You have to focus on your messaging, and your messaging has become your new targeting. If you do that, you're going to reach the type of person that you want to reach. This is exactly how it works, right? So you're going to have a lot of ad creatives that you're going to give Meta. Meta's going to run through them, or their AI is going to run through those ad creatives, and based on what you say in those ads, okay, based on the copy and based on the background, whatever it might be, right, based on everything, based on your creative, their AI is going to analyze everything, right, and analyze what you're trying to say, and then they're going to try and match that exact creative to the type of person that is likely to convert to your offer or to your ad or whatever it might be, right? It's that crazy. They know everything about everybody who uses their platforms, right? They have all these data points about everybody. So if you're talking about something related to real estate, right, they know exactly who's going to convert to that ad, because maybe they converted before to an ad like that, or maybe their interests on Meta is just like real estate, for example, real estate investing, whatever it might be. So based on what you say in your copy, Meta is going to take that and put it in front of the right person. If you know this, first of all, you're not going to make the mistake of creating generic ads that don't work, right? And second of all, you don't have to like do everything on the ad level anymore, right? You don't have to like set up all these crazy interest stacks. What I'm going to show you today is not the only way to run Meta ads, okay? This is what works for us right now. This is how I interpret these Meta articles that you can also have. If you want to have this doc, by the way, I'm going to put it in the description. You can just grab it, all right? So yeah, so this is all based on what works for us, okay? So there's no one way you can do that, but this is what Meta says, okay? Messaging has become your new targeting. If you understand that, you're always going to reach high intent leads, okay? You're not going to attract beginners, okay? You're not going to attract the type of person that you don't want to attract. All you have to do is just tailor your messaging around the type of person that is likely to convert to your offer, all right? So how do you do that? Okay, let's talk about it, which is phase 1, all right? Setting up your first paid ads campaign. With this in mind, Facebook will serve your ad to the exact type of person that you're describing in your ad and is likely to convert, and optimize for people who hit your conversion event in Pixel. With that in mind, we can go into phase 1, which is setting up your first paid ads campaign. This is what I call the test campaign, right? So we want to test out different avatars, personas, pocket audiences, whatever you want to call it. Facebook calls it personas, okay? So in this test campaign, you want to test out different personas, different angles, different content, like creative formats, everything, right? This is going to be your test campaign. So from there, you're going to let Facebook decide which ads to put spend behind, right? You're going to like load up this campaign that I'm going to show you right now. You're going to load it up with ads, and then Facebook is going to decide which of your ads is going to get you the lowest cost per result, and they're going to spend like 80 to 90% on a couple of ads, okay? And based on that, I iterate, which is going to be step 2, which we're going to get into, right? So this is what the campaign looks like. It's going to be one campaign, one broad ad set without any limitations or restrictions, okay? It's literally just like US, Canada, UK, whatever you want to target, right? And no like limits, no restrictions, okay? It's all broad. It's all broad, okay? Because again, messaging has become your new targeting. As long as your messaging is good in the ads and your messaging is tailored toward the type of person that you want to reach, you are going to reach that person, no matter what you set up in the ad set level, right? So one ABO campaign, one broad ad set, and then 25 to 30 unique ad creatives loaded up in that one ad set. As I said, this is going to be your test campaign, so you want to test out different avatars, angles, formats, and from there, Facebook is going to spend like 80 to 90% on 1 to maybe 3 max ads right here of those 30. So like 27, 28 of these ads are not going to get any spend besides the initial spend that they're going to get, right? So yeah, this is how it's going to look like. And then the way they do that is they're going to see which of those ads get you the lowest cost per result. Okay, you set that up in the ad set level, right? And then based on that, they're going to spend all of your money on 1 to 3 ads that are likely to get you the lowest cost per result. Okay, so how do I create those 25 to 30 initial ads? All right, you have to first come up with the personas, as Facebook said, right? You have to forget the idea of a perfect ad. You have to, one way to do this is to build personas that outline different customer needs and blockers. Okay, they're basically saying come up with personas and come up with different angles to reach those personas. Okay, that's what they're saying. So you are basically going to take your sales call recordings. That's what I like to do. You can also take your onboarding call recordings. If you have no calls whatsoever, you should not watch this video right now. Go and get some calls booked initially organically. But yeah, basically you're going to take your sales calls, which is what I like to do, and then from there you're basically going to load up all of these sales call transcripts into AI, and you're going to let AI, for example Claude, analyze which type of persona is likely to convert to your offer. Okay, let me give you an example. So let's say it's a SaaS consulting offer. There are going to be multiple different types of persons, right, that come into these calls. Okay, for example, persona A could be somebody who's just exploring AI SaaS. Persona B could be somebody who only has an idea for a SaaS product, so they're in the ideation phase. Persona C could be somebody who already started building and they're close to launching, but they have no idea how to scale. And persona D could be somebody who already has a live SaaS and struggles with distribution and conversion, whatever it might be, right? You see that, like, you understand there are going to be multiple personas that get into your calls, and for your offer, you already know what type, what type of personas get into your calls, right? So you're going to analyze which of those personas actually close versus which don't, okay, which don't close. And then based on that, you're only going to create your ads tailored to people who are to the personas that are actually closing. Okay, that's what you have to do. Pretty simple, right? Let AI analyze for you which type of person you should try to reach in your ads, okay? And then from there, you're going to have like 3 to maybe 5 max personas that are likely to convert to your offer. And from there, you're going to go ahead and create angles to reach each and every one of those personas. Okay, do you see how that works? So let's say for the angles, I use like the onboarding calls, for example, because if let's say somebody who is like falls into category C right here, persona C, who already started building and is close to launching and has no idea how to scale, right? That type of persona has different, like, has specific thoughts, okay, has specific thoughts and yeah, thought processes, and we can find that out. We can find out what those thoughts are based on the onboarding and sales calls, okay? Maybe even Reddit, because they're also on Reddit and they are telling you about their thoughts on Reddit as well. So we're going to take all of those, again, use AI to analyze what type of angles you can use to reach them, okay? These could be a current set of beliefs, it could be a problem that they're experiencing, it could be failed attempts, it could be frustrations, it could be something, right? Something based on what they're thinking about, okay? You have to get into your prospect's head, into their thoughts, and if you can describe your prospect's current situation or problems better than they could, because they probably never said it out loud, they're going to convert, okay? If you can communicate their exact situation in your ad, they're going to convert, okay? That's what you have to do. So what am I looking to do? How am I going to reach those 3, let's say 3 for an easy, like to keep it easy. How am I going to reach those 3 people in that initial test campaign, right? I am going to take 5 to 10 angles for each of those 3 personas, and I'm going to create ads based on that, okay? So let's say, as an example, I could be looking to attack a current belief. Like, one way to get an angle could be attacking a current belief of the prospect and shift it in our favor by showing a better way. Another angle could be describing a specific problem they're going through right now, okay, and then needs to fix. Another angle could be I describe their current situation and future pace into the dream state, step by step, okay? Whatever type of angle you use, you need to get into your prospect's head and explain it very, very clearly, okay? And again, you're gonna have 25 to 30 unique ads, unique angles, okay, top to bottom, all right? You're not gonna reuse the same angle over and over and over again in the test campaign, all right? So let me give you an example right here of creating one ad creative, okay? So remember, there is no one way to do this. Again, I'm just showing you what works for us right now, okay? So let's say we take a persona for us in the SaaS consulting offer. we have one persona, which is software engineers. Okay, they come into our calls every single time. Okay, a lot of the times we have software engineers there, and one angle we can use to reach that persona is this right here. They're spending weeks perfecting their SaaS product, launch it, and then nobody buys, and then they think it was because the product was bad. Okay, which is not true. It was just that the marketing was bad. Okay, I know this exact type, like this exact situation. I know that from the onboarding and the sales calls, because they say that over and over and over and over again. Okay, so I can take that, create an ad. Okay, I can create an ad based on what they say, and I'm going to reach more software developers that are going to be like, yo, this is exactly what I'm thinking. Let me convert. Let me go ahead and sign up for the webinar, sign up for the VS, or whatever it might be, right? So that's exactly how it works. I'm going to describe their exact thoughts in this ad that I'm going to show you right now, and the current situation, and then I'm going to attack their belief and with justifications, right? And then I'm going to shift their current belief state into one that's favorable for us, and then they're going to convert. Okay, let me give you the actual example. Okay, the ad structure could be this right here. I can have a hook, right? And then I describe their current situation better than they could, all right, or current belief. And then I attack that belief and tease the better way. I attack it with justifications. I logically explain why that's wrong. And then I shift their belief, justifying why the new way is better by showing proof. Okay, and then I get it to the CTA. Again, just like for some context so that you understand this ad right here. This has made us tens of thousands of dollars, by the way. This has made us so much money, this one ad right here. Just like, so some context for you. The context is these software developers think it's product, okay, their product is bad, and that's why it didn't work. Okay, so they go ahead and try to perfect their product, which is wrong. Marketing is more important than their product. The reason why their SaaS flopped was because of the marketing. Okay, they should focus more on content instead of like content as onboarding, paywall, all of that stuff. All right, instead of trying to make the perfect product. Okay, that's the context for this ad. So let's go ahead. The hook is I can't write a single line of code, and I've made more money from SaaS than most software engineers ever will. Okay, very solid hook. First of all, I'm calling out the type of person that I want to reach. Okay, you're gonna like keep in mind we're trying to tailor this to exactly who we're trying to reach, right? So software engineers. So we say that in the hook, right? We also have like this whole thing is just describing their exact thoughts. Facebook is going to analyze it and put it in front of software engineers that are already trying to build SaaS products. Okay, it's insane, but that's how it works. So I can't write a single line of code, and I've made more money from SaaS than most software engineers ever will. Very engaging hook, and I know that sounds crazy. I justify the hook, and then I get into like describing their exact situation, which is part 2. I know that sounds crazy, but right now most software engineers like you, again, I'm talking to that exact type of persona, are doing the same thing over and over again. You get a SaaS idea, you start building immediately, you spend weeks or months perfecting it, and then nobody buys. Okay, so yeah, this is their exact situation, and then I get into attacking that belief. Okay, attacking that belief, or not like that. I'm not attacking it yet. Okay, I'm explaining why it's wrong. So the funny part is the devs who are actually making money with their own softwares, their code is usually worse than yours. You've probably seen it yourself. You know you can build better softwares than 99% of the softwares out there, but yet they're making money and you're not. Why? Because they learned how to market and sell their software before they started building it. That's it, marketing, and that's the only thing. That's the one thing that most devs never learn at their school, at their job or in school, right? Again, I'm describing their exact thought and say why it's wrong by justifying that there are apps or softwares that are making more money than them, even though their product is worse than their product, simply because they focus on marketing. Okay, that's how I justify and try to shift their belief. Okay, some more proof to justify it even further. Look, my latest SaaS did over X $million in first year, whatever. So I'm just like going to get into proof. I don't want to like say exactly what the proof was, but yeah, my product wasn't pretty at all, especially in the beginning. Marketing was the only difference between my software and the ones making nothing. So if you can build SaaS products, but you've never figured out how to actually make money from them, right? This week I'm doing a free live training, and then I get it to the CTA. Okay, again, you see how that's like how we're only talking to one specific type of person with one angle and one thought process that they have, and we're trying to attack it and shift it in our favor and get them to sign up. That's the whole idea. Okay, that's what we're doing with all of these ads right here. Obviously, that's like, again, this is not the only way to do it. You can also make it shorter. You can go, instead of like attacking a current belief set, you can future pace, right, into their dream set, whatever it might be. You have to have multiple unique angles to create 25 to 30 initial ad creatives. So again, if you have 3 personas, if you have 5 angles to reach each of those 3 personas, you're going to have 15. So maybe shoot for 7 to 8. You're going to be left with 25 to 30 unique ad creatives targeting different personas with different angles. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it for phase 1. So one thing that I wanted to mention as well, the creative format. Okay, here as well, you can already test multiple formats. Okay, you can test a selfie style video, maybe that is crushing it for you. You can test edited talking head. Okay, maybe you can test physical whiteboard. All right, you can test a podcast style video. Again, you want to have, as Facebook says, different themes, okay, messages and visuals. Themes and visuals, again, is the format, right? And then the messages is like the messaging, the copy, right? As I said, different personas with different angles. You need a wide range of ad creatives, okay? This is going to be your range of ad creatives with different themes, messages, and visuals, all right? So what is going to happen from there, all right? Well, let's get into phase 2, which is iterating and overcoming ad fatigue. So now at this point, you already have your ad test campaign set up and it's running, and Meta has been spending like 80 to 90% of your ad set budget on 1 to 3 ad creatives, okay? Most of the time it's going to be like 1 or 2, okay? So 80 to 90% of your ad set budget is going to go into 1 or 2 ad creatives, which is good. You want that, okay? You just like don't like think, oh, I created 30 ads and none of these are getting spent. This was just a waste of time. No, you gave Facebook enough ammo to even find out which of those ad creators, okay, which of those 1 to 2 ad creators is going to get you the best cost per result, right? You just give them enough ammo, all right, to go ahead and analyze and match it to the right type of person, okay, that is likely to convert. So at this point, 90% of your ad set budget goes into 2 ad creatives, and these ads are going to fatigue, okay? They're going to fatigue 100%, whether that's within week 1, okay, if you have a lot of ad spend behind it, 1 month, okay, 6 days, whatever it might be, the ads are going to fatigue, okay? It's just how it works, right? It's going to fatigue. Your CPMs are going to go up for no reason. Your CTR is going to go down, okay? You're going to be like, oh shit, what happened? Okay, I have to tweak my landing page. I have to tweak my sales process. Don't do it, okay? Don't freak out. It's normal, right? All you have to do from at that point is just launch new ad creatives and iterate on what was working before, okay? By the way, if your 1 to 2 ad creatives right here that got all the spend did not get you good leads, you can set up a second test campaign, right? And try to target new customer personas with new angles and then see if those ads are getting you good results, okay? And if that's then the case, you get into step 2, which is scaling and iterating, as I said, okay? So how do you actually launch new ad creatives once your ads are fatiguing, once the good ads are fatiguing within a couple of days or weeks, okay? What's the strategy? How do you just like blindly launch new ads with the same angles? Well, not necessarily, okay? Let me show you what I mean. This is what I call scientific scaling, all right? Scientific scaling, I was in school for this shit, but yeah. You want to do controlled experiments, okay? You want to do controlled experiments just like in science. A controlled experiment is one in which all variables are held constant except the independent variable, okay? So what does that mean? You want to change out of like, let's say you have multiple variables per ad creative, okay? One variable could, for example, be your persona, okay? Another variable could be your angle, okay? Angle. Another one could be the format, okay? If you want to go even deeper into it, another one could be like another variable could be the hook. Another one could be the body, the CTA. Maybe it was a specific set of words within the hook, okay? So you can go really, really specific here, okay? You only, like in a controlled experiment, all you want to do is change one of these variables, right? And then keep every single one of those other variables constant so that you actually know what caused the change, right? That's what you have to do, okay? A variable could be the format, the angle, the hook, as I said, okay? And when you're first starting out, I recommend to keep it simple, okay? So the variables that you want to test are going to be your persona, your angle, and the persona, angle, and the format, okay, with slight variations of the angle, okay? So that's what you want to do. This is how you're going to structure the next campaign, the next step, okay? It's going to be one ABO campaign with multiple different concept-based ad sets, okay, persona/angle-based ad sets, whatever you want to call it. And within each ad set, you're going to test one variable, okay? So as an example, let's say in ad set 1, we test the angle, okay? We test the angle. So let's say like in this test campaign, you had one persona that was getting all the spend. Let's say it was the software developer, okay, the software engineer. That ad got all of the spend, okay? Maybe like in this case, let's say it was a selfie style video. Okay, selfie style video was the format, and the persona was the software engineer, and the angle was just the angle that I just explained, okay? What you can do now in a controlled experiment is you can change one of those variables, which could be the angle, for example, and then you basically keep the same selfie style video, you keep targeting the software developers, but you now have more angles to try to basically get a better result, okay, of the ad that just fatigue, right? So in this one ad set, you could have software developer, selfie style video, and then you have like 10 to 15 new angles that you didn't use before. Okay, and then you basically test the angle, and then you find a new good performing angle. You see how that makes sense? It's a controlled experiment. You keep everything else constant besides one variable, which in this case could be the angle. Okay, and another ad set, it could be. By the way, we do multiple ad sets with ABO simply because you want to control which of those ads, like how much spend they get. Okay, if you do CBO, you're not gonna be in control of that. Okay, so in this case, you could test the angle. And another ad set, you could test the format. Okay, so you keep the angle and the persona same. You change the format. So if it was a selfie style video, maybe you can even keep the same copy, maybe with like slight variations. Okay, keep that, and then just like instead of a selfie video, film a podcast style video, film a physical whiteboard style video, film an edited, like highly edited talking head video. There are multiple formats you can use, right? Yeah, I probably have some here. I don't have them in mind right now, but yeah, there are multiple formats you can use. Okay, you can even have a mirror board style video. Okay, like a split screen mirror board style video. You could have an app like the Notes app on your iPhone. Okay, you could have that, a green screen type of video. Okay, there are going to be multiple formats you can use to test, right? So in this case, you're going to like in ad set 2, you're going to test a new format. Okay, and then you're going to do all of that multiple times with multiple ad sets. Okay, where you're only going to test one variable at a time, and that way you're going to have data to understand which of those variables is going to get you the best results. So let's say in ad set 1, where you were testing the angle, you found a new winning angle, right? And then in ad set 2, you found a new winning creative format. Okay, let's say instead of a selfie style video, it was a podcast style video. Okay, now you can match that angle with that new format, that new angle with the new format, and then you can test another variable in another ad set. Okay, that's how you go ahead like for months and months and months on end and test continuously and find new winning ads. Okay, that's how we are doing it. That's what works for us. Controlled experiments. Okay, because like if you can also do a multivariate test, which is where you are testing like multiple variables at a time to like you're changing multiple variables at a time to find the combination that is getting you the best result. Okay, in that case, again, you could have a campaign structure like this where you have one ABO campaign, one broad asset, and then you basically just mix and match multiple variables and try to find a new best performing combination. Okay, that's what you can do as well. These are the two ways you can do it, by the way. Okay, in my opinion. So multivariate tests or controlled experiments. If you do it this way, you're gonna understand exactly what made the difference. In this case, for example, it was a new angle that made the difference. Here it was a new format. Here maybe it was a new persona. Okay, maybe here it was a different hook. Here it was a different variation of the angle or the way you communicated the angle. You can test one variable at a time and you're gonna know exactly what it was. If you do these multivariate tests, okay, you're not gonna understand exactly which of those like multiple mixed together variables made the significant difference, right? And why you got a better result. But both work. Okay, and that's going to be your scaling engine, right? You're going to have those. You're going to have your test campaign, initial test campaign, right? You're going to find your winning ad. From there, you're going to do controlled experiments with new variables to find out a new combination, or you do a multivariate test where you just like do another test style campaign where you throw in multiple variables, you change multiple variables at a time, throw it all in there, and then let Meta decide again which combination is going to get you the best color result. Okay, that's your scaling engine. You're continuously going to go ahead and iterate. You're going to set up new test campaigns. You're going to iterate again with controlled experiments. That's how you can scale. Okay, this is months and months on end and scaling budget, scaling runway, basically. Okay, everything aside of that is just understanding whether or not the lead quality you're attracting is good. So if you have a test, like in your test campaign, in your initial test campaign, you saw that your lead quality isn't good, that you're attracting, you don't like it, you can like iterate based on that and then try to target avatars, okay, to get better, higher quality leads. And obviously, again, the base of the foundation of this is writing good copy, good hooks, making native filling videos. Okay, this is going to be your foundation. Like every single one of your ads has to have good copywriting. If it's not, like if you don't have good copy, no matter what type of campaign setup you have, it's never going to perform. Never. Okay, it's never going to perform. So you have to have good copywriting, and this is going to be how we scale paid ads from $0 to $250,000 per month for high ticket info offers. If you want us to run your entire webinar, set up and run your entire webinar funnel completely done for you, okay, there's going to be a link in the description. It's going to be the first link. It's going to send you to a video that explains our exact offer, exactly what you'd have to do to run that webinar funnel consistently, okay, which is just like recording some ads and then hopping on a webinar for once a week. Everything else is done for you. But yeah, if you don't want that, that's cool too. I appreciate you watching this video, and I am gonna see you in the next one. This was a super valuable video. All right.